Listen up or run for cover. Dropping knowledge from the people who have it to the people who need it. The real Brad Lee is dropping.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bizzles. Today in the studio, folks, I've got a real treat for you. Nani Bernal, what's happening?
What's up, Brad?
Folks, if you guys don't know Nani Bernal, Nani, say it again.
It's Azahani, but everyone knows me as Azo Nani or Nani.
Nani Bernal. What kind of name is that?
It's actually Nigerian. I'm not Nigerian. It means St. Lazarus. My mom and dad kind of screwed me up with a long name like that, huh?
It's a good name. I like it. It's unique.
Like me.
But Nani Bernal is basically the founder of the InPower Accountability Group, and her mission is to empower individuals to achieve their goals by creating results, routine, and recharge.
Yep.
And that's why I'm excited for you to be on the show, because a lot of times people don't understand the value of repetition, accountability, et cetera, and that's what you're all about. You accidentally kind of founded this little tribe of yours, InPower Tribe.
Yeah.
And, basically, tell me if I'm wrong, but you basically said, look, man, this ain't rocket science. You got to write down your goals. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to do this. And a couple of people started winning. And you're like, son of a bitch. This works. So now more people started, and you were doing it free just with friends and family. And then you're like, shit, dude, this is taking my time. I'm going to start charging. You started charging. People started winning. More people came. Next thing you know, now you got yourself a little bit of a program, let's call it.
Yeah, I got myself a movement going on now.
A little movement, not the morning movement, not the morning movement. Not the morning movement. Like the movement in the morning, but a full-blown movement.
Yeah, a big wave that's coming. If you're not in the InPower Tribe, you're gonna have to get in power. I'm really big on showing people that it's simplicity that gets you to the next level. We're always trying to have a bigger expectation on things, or we're always trying to make things complicated when it's as simple as just staying accountable to your words, staying accountable to the commitments you make.
Have you ever read 4 Agreements?
No, I have not.
Be impeccable with your word is one of the agreements. Where if it's Don Miguel Ruiz, I suggest everybody reads it, including you.
I actually have the book. Someone gifted it to me, but I haven't read it. So
well, you should. You really should read it, because there's 4 main agreements that you agree with yourself, and if you do those things, you're almost guaranteed success. But they're difficult to do. But mainly, it's accountability. It's what you're teaching. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do you get in power?
How you get in power really is more or less staying committed to what you say to yourself. I get coached by Ed Milet and Andy Frisella in the Arctic Accelerator. And one thing that Ed has taught me is that if you can't keep a word to yourself, you can't keep a word to anything. And you start by keeping your little commitments to yourself. If you say, I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m., really wake up at 4 a.m. Because if you're lying to yourself, you can't stay honest to anyone. You can't give your word. That's like me saying, hey, I can't keep anything to myself. I can't stay committed. But Brad, I got you. You got my word. How am I going to give you my word if I can't even keep a word to myself? And people don't realize that confidence stems from us. Like, confidence is within us. It's not other people's expectations. It's not other people's words. It's our own. So if I make you proud, cool. Am I making myself proud? Am I keeping my own word to myself? And once you start keeping your word to yourself, keeping commitments, that's where you build that little bit of confidence and you build that momentum. And people don't realize that because people don't want to do the work.
That's right. That's right, kids. You better say that again. Let me just tell you, folks, I've got a course called Closer School, where in the very beginning, people are like, I thought this was about closing, because I'm telling people basically how to adjust their mind to do it, and it's how do you build confidence, because there's a lot of people out there without confidence, a lot of shit doesn't work well. And how I teach them to build confidence, which, by the way, I just got an incredible testimony the other day. Some guy was homeless, divorced, 2 kids, single dad, freaking said he bought the course, borrowed the money to buy the course. And he said it wasn't what he expected at first, because I was talking about confidence and mindset. And people were like, I thought this was about closing. Well, it's about closing, but you can't be a top-rated badass master closer unless you have some confidence.
Yep.
And confidence is built exactly that way, by doing what you say you're going to do, and ultimately keeping the words that you give as almost sacred. Like, dude, do what you say you're going to do, period,
Yep.
in a conversation.
It's about being intentional, really. And I think a lot of us miss that because we're so profit driven, but people are profit driven and they don't even got profit. So you don't got profit, you don't got purpose, and now you're stuck there like, man, what's next? What's next is you need to revert the circle, look at where the hell you're at, like, where am I at with myself, and then see that, okay, this isn't about the profit, it's about the purpose. And I'm one to say that once I became intentional, doors started opening. Once I started being more purpose driven, the profit came because now I'm providing a service that's not only fulfilling myself, I'm providing a service that's impacting people too. Because I'm not one of those leaders that are like, hey, do this, do that. I'm actually right there in the trenches with you. When I started my 90-day program, I made a 90-day goal as well. I wanted to get a podcast going. I wanted to be with big players. I wanted to increase my income. And since these 90 days, I'm like now 175 days deep and I'm on Dropping Bombs podcast. You know, I just did a interview on Jonathan Hawkins' podcast. I spoke to Dave Meltzer last week. I'm, making moves, and it's because I'm consistent and I'm intentional. And so many of us lose that intention, but you don't realize that if you lose your intention, all you're doing is losing yourself. A lot of people take their mess. There you go.
Dang.
Yeah,
Listen to Nani dropping bombs up
Yeah,
in this
man.
bitch.
A lot of people take their mess and they don't turn it to their mission. And I'm really big on repurposing it because I got a past. I used to be a drug dealer, used to be a drug user.
What were you drugging? What were you dealing?
I was dealing weed, cocaine.
Damn.
As well.
How much was an 8-ball?
It was for 100 and, no, 8-ball, 100, 120, just depending. Not something I like to talk about, but yeah.
We'll keep it real here at Drop Bombs.
I'm not, my thing is I want to tell people that story and I want people to know that life because at the end of the day, you can change it. I took my mess and I repurposed it to my mission.
Not only that, dude, you would ended up fucked somehow.
Yeah, and I did. I got a record. I'm a felon. That's part of the reason why I have to be an entrepreneur because I was very lost. I had that blame game. Like everything was everybody else's fault, but I was my own destruction. And to me, that could have killed me and it could have made me land in jail. And the part of where I started realizing like, yo, you're fucking reckless, girl. Like you're so great, but you're reckless is, I was drinking one night, drove, and I got a DUI and I didn't even know. I totaled my car and my best friend was in it. Woke up, and when I woke up, I was in jail and I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't remember anything. And for 72 hours, I didn't know if I killed my friend. I didn't know if I had bond. They gave me no bond. They had me in a suicide room because I punched the officer. Like, it was pretty intense. And when I got out of there, I got a little girl, so when I got out of there, I was thinking, man, I'm going to change my life. But instead, it made me get really depressed, and I tried to kill myself that same day when I got released. And that was an epiphany moment for me because I realized that, I'm sitting here blaming people, and even to the fact that I woke up, didn't know if I almost killed someone, didn't know if I ruined my life, and I'm still like, I don't care for my life. Something had to change.
Damn, we got a badass on the show as well. But dude, that goes to show you, man, there's people out there depressed when they should be excited.
Yeah.
Because it all boils down to choices. You made a choice, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then signing up for the Arate Syndicate, or
it's Accelerator.
Accelerator.
It's the one. It's the level
the
right
cheaper
below.
one.
Yeah, it's a cheap one. It's the one. Like Andy says, we're not there yet, but he's gonna get us there.
Yeah. So again, though, but that's the thing. I always tell people the things I would change if I could do it over is I'd seek knowledge faster. See, and if I were to pick a group out there that I'm aware of, because I'm aware of a lot, but not all of them. Arate is a good one.
Yeah.
Because Ed Milet's no joke. Andy's no joke. And even the people, that they bring in are no joke. So Arate is a good one. If you guys are listening, you're not part of that Arate Syndicate or Accelerator, whatever they call it. It's not much money, but I'll tell you right now, if I could do it all over, that's definitely the shit I'd be doing.
Yeah, it pays to play.
Yeah, and then the second thing I'd be doing is investing my money more wisely, which I pissed away a lot of money, which was stupid. But, hey, you live and you learn, man. As long as you learn, like they say, you can't lose if you're learning.
Yep. But a lot of people think knowledge is power, but what's powerful is applied knowledge. A lot of people learn stuff, but they don't do nothing with it. So a big bomb is make sure you're applying the knowledge because knowledge is power, but applied knowledge is power.
Well, I decide what the bombs are, young lady. Number one. And that's almost a bomb. However, the right knowledge is all you need.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say what you just said. And here's why I disagree. Because the right knowledge, you'd know you have to apply it. Right?
Yeah.
So the right knowledge is what you need. That's all you need is the right knowledge. Now, again, people can argue and say, well, if you don't apply it, but yeah, if you have the right knowledge, you know that you have to apply it. So that's what I mean. It umbrellas what you just said. So what you said is right, but I always disagree with it because a lot of people want to say, well, knowledge isn't worth anything if you don't apply it. Well, true, but that's not always true either. Like there are things that you could know that would help even if you didn't apply it. Like, for example, hookers might give you AIDS, right? You wouldn't want to go apply that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
You just trust
You're right.
it. But you're exactly right, Nani. Applied knowledge is where it's at. Execution is everything. The difference between big companies and big ideas is execution. If you don't do anything with it, if you don't execute, you're fucked. So another question. You had me on your podcast a while back.
Yeah.
How many people were on that call?
There's about 25 to 30 people.
No, were those paying people or those were still free?
No, those are paying people.
And they were all excited. They love you to death, probably because you're holding them accountable.
Yeah, they love me to death because I'm impacting them.
Yeah, and it's called InPower Accountability Group.
Yep, it's an InPower Accountability Group. The main purpose of it is that I create a 90-day growth plan with these individuals, and I help them achieve the goals or get the right routine and resources to get to the next level. And with that, it's been taken off because I think a lot of people just need someone to say, yo, I believe in you. You could do this. And a lot of people don't have that. They get down on themselves. So,
yeah, well, that's true. And I don't even understand why.
Yeah.
Like, why do people make the success thing so difficult? Yeah, and
they're
complicated.
They're not thick-skinned.
I don't know what happened to me growing up, but maybe it was because I was kind of left on my own for the most part. And I kind of just had to survive and figure shit out. But at the end of the day, man, like, it's all perspective.
Yeah.
Like right now, people say, I'm killing the game. Oh, I'm so successful. I could also tell you that I'm fucking up $1 billion deal. So that's just two different ways of looking at the same situation. Yeah. I don't think I'm fucking up $1 billion deal, although I've definitely made mistakes. But I could, and that's the difference between. I'm in the same situation no matter how I look at it. Yeah. Some people can say I should be proud and walk around here like a freaking peacock. And then some people could say, dude, you're screwing up the deal. Like, you should have been 10 times farther ahead than where you are. It's all perspective, right?
Yeah, it is all perspective.
And who chooses your perspective?
I think that it's more or less that people don't understand that we're a force or a factor in this world. And a lot of people choose to be factors when our obligation as individuals, no matter whether we like it or not, is to impact. A lot of people think nothing results in nothing, but that's not true. Nothing results in something. Nothing results in you not being in the position you want to be. Not doing nothing results in having that self-sabotage. A lot of people need to understand that you're not just here to be a factor in history, you're here to be a force.
Dude, I like the nothing. People think nothing amounts to nothing, which is totally wrong.
Yep.
Because you're right. Nothing does amount to a lot.
Yeah, nothing amounts to a lot. You get nothing out of it, and you're in a bad position.
Worse position.
Yep. And a lot of people hate the word process because, in order to get to the next level, you got to get yourself in a process. I'm really big on saying process and position because if I'm able to go through the process, I'm going to be able to position myself in the right direction.
Yeah, what do you as far as perspective goes, what shifted your perspective? Because it sounds to me like when you got put in jail, your perspective changed.
I think what really shifted my perspective is that I had a little girl and I still was so careless. It made me realize that I'm selfish as fuck. It made me realize that I'm sitting here putting myself in a position to lose when everybody wants me to win. I have a daughter, and if I were to leave today, what legacy would I have left? Like, what would people say about me? Oh, you're a drug dealer. Oh, you dropped out. You know what I mean? So that shift of knowing that if I were to really leave today and my reputation was drug dealer, drug user, it would be a shame because that would impact my daughter, and we plant seeds.
And then what I guess prohibited you from getting the normal mindset of people, which is yeah but.
Why didn't so I can understand the question you're asking? Why didn't I have that perspective of saying, yeah, but this?
Yeah, I talk to people all the time. They're like, hey, how do I do this? And I say, do this, and they're like, yeah, but. And I'm like, yeah, but what? Yeah, but I don't have any money. Yeah, but I wasn't raised that way. Yeah, but my whole family would disown me. Yeah, but there's always this yeah, but mindset. I don't get it, because when you think about it, and I'm including me and Ed Milet and Andy Frisella and everybody, dude, we aren't fucking magic.
Yeah.
There's nothing special. We're not special. Now, again, we might be considered special because not everybody makes it, but what we've done, including Ed, and again, I'll tell Ed and Andy and everybody else this. I don't know of anybody other than a few, very, very few people that are doing rocket science shit. What you're doing is not rocket science. What you're doing is not fucking revolutionary. You're doing the work, and you're holding yourself accountable, and you're going through you're paying the dues. You're doing the work.
Yeah.
Like, it's not rocket science. So what makes people out there think when they hear, like, hey, I mean, how many times have you said, join my group, and people didn't?
A lot. It's funny because I tell people all the time that they should join the community, and their excuse is, I don't have the money.
Yeah, but I don't have the money.
Yeah, but I don't have the money. Yeah, but how do I know I'm going to get value? Yeah, but I don't know if I have time. And my favorite thing to say is, how don't you have time and you're not even a millionaire yet? You know, and I think that it's more or less people take adversity the wrong way. And that's how I was. I was taking adversity in a negative format, and not because I wanted to, is because I didn't understand that things don't happen to me, they happen for me, you know? And once I started realizing, okay, this is happening for me, I'm really big on saying this. I don't say why, I say what. I think why is begging, you know? I think hope is begging. The reason why I say what is because if I say why me, why this, what am I going to get? I'm going to get pity. But if I say what is this for? What can I learn? What is the solution? What is next? That means I'm going to take action with it. So I think a lot of people see adversity in a bad way. My favorite story to tell is, you know, I've seen a story on Facebook where it's two guys. They have a alcoholic father, and one grows up to be very successful and the other one grows up to be an alcoholic. And same question is, you know, what happened in your life? Why are you that way? The successful guy said, because my dad was an alcoholic. The other kid said, oh, because my dad's an alcoholic. So now he's a drunk and he's successful, and it's because he took adversity and didn't see it in a negative format, you know? And I think a lot of people see adversity in a negative way when it's not. Adversity is what you need to go through so you can get to that next transition of your life. And I think a lot of people need to stop with this why me shit and start saying, like, what's next? What can I learn? What can I do? What can take me to that next level?
Yeah. The things don't happen to me, they happen for me. Is that what you said? Now, I've heard Ed say that. You must have learned that from Ed.
Yep.
And I've always wanted to talk to Ed about this because some of the things I hear people say are a little cliche, and that's one of them. Like, things happen for you.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means that instead of seeing this as a bad situation, like, oh my God, this is happening to me, this is happening for me, what can I learn from this? I think that...
So it's a perspective.
Yeah, I think that everyone needs to come in life with an outcome. You see, if we don't come with an outcome, we get nothing from it. So if, let's say, for example, I took a lot of the bad things in my life that happened to me, and I'm like, well, this is my life. I can't do nothing about it. You know, like, this is happening to me because this is where I'm at. Then I'd be in a little ball in the corner crying, you know? But instead, I'm like, no, this is happening for me. This is happening for me to learn from this. This is happening for me so I could get stronger. A lot of people think when you're buried that you're dead, but when you're buried, you're about to blossom. You know, if you think of it like a seed, a flower, you got to bury it, right? Then you water it. It got to go through some rain, got to go through some sunshine, and then it grows. That's the same thing about us in life, you know? Sometimes we get buried. Sometimes we feel like we're under, but what we don't realize is that under is our next level to get up. If you could look up, you could get up.
Yeah, I like that. Happened for me. I would suggest maybe even another one that people can listen to or latch onto, and that's shit's happening because of you.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why me? Well, it's because you. That's
Yeah.
why. Like, why'd you go to jail? Because of you. You know what I'm saying? Why didn't you lose your little girl? Same reason, because of you. So shit doesn't necessarily happen for you, but now that you explained it, it makes better sense, because I always thought, that's kind of cliche.
Yeah.
Things happen for me, like I broke my arm. Oh, that was for me. Thank you. No, that's mindset, basically.
Yeah.
I broke my arm. How did that happen for me? Well, I broke my arm because, for sure, but now it makes a little more sense the way you promoted that. But think about this, kids listening to this. Because of me, like, every single thing that happens to you is because of you. Now, some people can argue that, and I've had a whole bunch of people try, but I think it's kind of like the for me thing. It's a mindset. The choices you make determine the roads you'll take.
Yep.
So again, you choose to sell drugs, and then you're in jail
I get the results of it.
crying.
Yep.
Boo-hoo, why me? Because you fucking chose to sell drugs. Well, you don't understand. I was hungry. It was the only way to make money. Bullshit. It wasn't the only way to make money. It was the easiest way to make money. There's people right there saying, I got a sling because I'm in the hood. I'm in the hood, so I have to do this. You don't understand. Well, first of all, maybe I don't understand living in the actual hood. And if, I don't want to even mention it, because listen, I don't claim to know everything, but I do know there's people from the hood that are successful.
Yep.
There's people that grew up right next to crack houses that never did crack. And they ended up in college, and they ended up with a degree, and they ended up as a doctor or whatever. So it's always kind of fascinated me to figure out, like, nature versus nurture. You ever see those studies?
Yeah.
Where, like, they got two kids, they separate them, and is it nature or nurture? And I think they've always proven that basically the environment does have a little impact, but it's all 100% in the mind.
Yeah, and that goes back to what I just said. We're a force. No matter what, we're gonna be an impact. And people don't see that. They're like, I'm nobody. No, you're somebody, because you came into this world. So everything that you do, whether it's good or bad, it has an effect. It has an impact. And once you start realizing that, that's when you guys start shifting. Things start shifting. And I think it's really more or less just accepting that you are the reason why where you're at right now. Like, everything you did is because of you. You know what I mean? It's that cause and effect.
Yeah, we got to come up with some sort of quicker way to get people to change their mind, because that's really all you have to do is change your mind.
Yep.
Most people act the way they do and do the things they do because they believe the way they believe. And if you can just change that, that's when, because I hear people say, I changed their life. And I always think, that's pretty dramatic to say I changed your life. But people have said that to me, and I always wonder, like, what did I say? What did I do?
Well,
I think maybe I just shifted their mindset.
For me, I would say that you didn't change my life, but you definitely helped my life get going more. Like, you're an impactor, and the reason why I say that is because you were the first big power player to actually go onto my group and want to provide value. And once that trend set happen, I started getting other power players. So
because I did it.
Yeah.
Did they know I did it?
Yeah, I would rep it. I'm like,
so
Bradley came into the Power Talk, and
so I'm a trendsetter.
Yeah.
You know
you're
that's
an
right.
impactor, man.
You know that's right.
Let's go.
Hey, man, I ain't gonna deny it. A lot of times, man, I start trends all over the world. Like this whole podcast thing.
Yeah.
I started that. There was nobody podcasting. Zero. Like, what was it? What have I been doing this a year or so? Before me, no one did it. Andy, in his fucking podcast, did it because of me. No, I'm just joking. Actually, I did it not mainly because of Andy, but I did it mainly because a lot of people were coming in and out of here with a lot of knowledge. And I'm thinking, shit, I'd be stingy if I didn't set up a couple microphones and just get people's opinions on shit and just have a conversation. Yeah. Call it dropping bombs and frickin' see what people think. Fortunately, people are liking the kind of natural conversation, but more importantly, there's a lot of frickin' value being dropped in all these podcasts, just depending on who you are and what's your mind shift. But Andy invited me on his podcast, which is flattering, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, because he doesn't just let anybody on that podcast.
Nah, he's a killer, too.
No, I called him one time. I said, hey, you want Lennox Lewis? He goes, no. I'm like, dude, you don't want Lennox Lewis? He goes, no, dude. I don't know what he would bring for my audience. I'm like, damn, dude. Like, and he let me on.
Yeah.
But Andy's like a real dude. And so he was a motivator for starting my podcast because I like his podcast. I like Ed's.
Yeah.
Ed and Andy are just good, real dudes. And they give real advice. They're not out there trying to get your money. First of all, neither of them need it. Secondly, they give you real advice. I've watched, there's people that are freaking loving those two.
Yeah, Ed Milet was a major factor in my life. When I was feeling depressed or I was feeling like I was losing direction, that's when I started, looking for a mentor. And that's something that I would tell people to do is start looking for someone that's in the position you want to be in. That way you can kind of replicate what they do. And I started listening to his podcast a lot. I read his book. And one thing that changed my life about Ed Milet is he helped me build my faith because I felt like I'm now satisfied. I now have a business going. I now, I'm understanding leadership. I have a good perspective, but I was missing something. And what he showed me was I was missing faith. And when I understood that, that's when I started getting more intentional with my purpose. That's when I started wanting to be more of a fulfillment rather than just someone that's doing another sales company or someone that's doing something that's for the profit. I know it sounds crazy that I'm like so careless now in the sense, not careless, I wouldn't say that, but I really do not care as much for the money coming rather than the purpose coming because ever since I've shifted that, like more purpose, the money's been coming. You know what I mean?
So what is your purpose?
Oh, man. I feel like every season of your life, you have a different purpose to get to the big one. My main purpose is that I want to be able to go to the end of my road, just like how Ed Milet says. I want to go to the end of my road and look at myself before I enter the heaven gates and know that, hey, I can at least identify that person, that I was able to be just as good as a person that I've been destined to be. Right now, this season of my life, my purpose is to be a good leader as well as a good mother. And I really believe that every season of your life has a different purpose. It requires a different level of you. It requires a different shift of you.
You read a lot?
Yes.
What's the book you like best?
Think and Grow Rich. I've read that 3 times already.
I think it was Jeff Bezos that read that like 30 times.
Yeah. And it's shifted me every single time. It gives me more of a perspective. And I wasn't a reader, but I heard Warren Buffett used to read 700 to 800 pages a day. And now that his eyes are getting a little weary, he reads 500. And I'm like, shit, this guy is one of the richest men in the world. And all he does is read. So I started reading more. And I started realizing that reading, I'm learning more. And it's helping me build more attentiveness to my words and what my perspective is. I'm really big on like personal development books because I'm fascinated with the mind.
Yeah, well, it boils down to the mind.
Yeah, everything.
How old are you?
I'm 24 years old.
See, I'm twice your age.
Really? You don't look it.
Well, thank you. But I am. So I can tell you guys, and I've probably lived 100. Like literally, I've had some crazy life experiences, probably more than most people my age. But when it boils down to it, if you want to get simple, it boils down to your mind.
Yeah.
100%. Like anybody has the ability to succeed beyond their wildest dreams if they just understand one thing. It's 100% in your mind. It's not in your environment. There are no limitations. There is enough for everybody. Abundance is a magical thing. And if you can just understand that, and go like convince yourself that it is 100% in your mind, you'll stop blaming people. You'll start taking responsibility. You'll start literally doing the things accidentally, meaning you won't even know that you're doing them, but just believing certain things will change how you think, and how you think causes your emotions, and your emotions cause your actions. And then next thing you know, your actions change.
Yep.
And then your life changes. And then you're going to basically parrot what I just said, which is, man, people are going to come up, hey, dude, how'd you turn your life around? And dude, it boils down to, listen, I just first of all decided to, whether it was pain that caused me to decide or embarrassment or whatever. But
wait, right there. Pain causes movement. And a lot of people don't understand that. See, there's a very big difference. I'm very conscientious of my words. And there's a very big difference between pain and suffering. Pain means you're on the right level. You're about to grow. You're about to move. Pain doesn't necessarily mean, oh my God, I'm stopping. And when you're suffering, suffering is those people that don't repurpose. You know, suffering is a big difference from pain. So pain isn't a bad thing. You're supposed to feel pain, because when I feel pain, it makes me move. When I feel pain, I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. See, our mind, our subconscious mind is the demander, and the conscious mind is the commander. So if I go ahead and say, man, you know, I'm going through it right now and I don't think I can handle this, my mind's going to say, yep, you're not going to be able to handle this. My subconscious mind's going to obey what my conscious mind just said, and now I'm in that rhythm. But if I'm like, you know what, this pain means that it's about to be a breakthrough, then it shifts me completely. So it does go all about the mind, but it also goes to being conscious of what you say, being conscious of words. A lot of people say things and they don't even realize what the fuck they're saying. And I find that a lot. You know, all these entrepreneurs, all these gurus, all these gurus, they always say things.
What are gurus?
What? A guru? A guru is a faker. A guru is one of those coaches that are like, hey, look at me, I got this awesome story, but they don't do shit. You know, they don't do anything. And that's why I created this, because I'm so tired of seeing these coaches, seeing these gurus, seeing these leaders say that they're leading a shift, and they're not leading shit. You know, they're leading themselves to just have this fake it till you make it attitude. And I think that fake it till you make it is the worst phrase ever. I hate it. I think it's take it, create it. That way you don't have to fucking fake it, you know? And I'm really big on that, because I have a crazy past and I changed my life. And I realized if I could be the best drug dealer, then I'm good at being bad. Why can't I be good at being good? And I think it goes back to my parents having a hard mentality on me and making me do things. Because if you're looking now, but if you look at my arm, this arm's smaller than the other, right? I can't turn this arm like this. I can't do anything with this arm. My right arm, I have a brachial plexus, Erb's palsy. I'm missing nerves, tendons, and my arm's supposed to be paralyzed. I'm not supposed to move it. And when I was born, they pulled me out wrong. And I always had adversities. And my mom and my dad always made me do everything on my own. Everything that I wasn't supposed to drive. I wasn't supposed to, grow. My arm wasn't supposed to grow. I wasn't supposed to do a lot of things that they counted me out for, but my parents always pushed me. And having this arm, it was hard when I was younger. I couldn't play sports. They told me, and I ended up being number 3 in the state for right midfield in soccer. They told me that I wouldn't be able to drive. They told me that I would have to have a handicap, like a handicapped car. They told me, they counted me out with so many things. And I think that push right there from my mom and dad, where they're like, nah, she's going to be able to do stuff. That's that factor on why I know I can do anything. I have an arm that's supposed to be paralyzed, and I use it like it's nothing. You wouldn't even know. And I used to get made fun of all the time. And till this day, some people will be like, oh, what's wrong with your arm? Or, man, robot arm, or something like that. And to me, it doesn't matter, because that's my number one factor of, like, I could do anything I put my mind to.
Amen. Back to the mind.
Yep.
So that's why I need to figure out some sort of way to get people to understand how simple it is, and it boils down to the mind.
Join the InPower Tribe.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Folks, by the way, if you want to go join that tribe, or at least check it out, go to InPowerTribe.net. Or just look her up on Instagram at Azonani, Azonani. Or you can go to Instagram account at InPower Tribe, right?
Yep.
So you guys know where to find her. She's a little badass, I can tell you, only because, I've been watching her. I mean, because you have me on your podcast. I'm like, oh, this is a cool little chick. Listen to her freaking holding people accountable, because too many people, they don't hold people accountable.
Yep.
And accountability to yourself and for others, I think that's where, like, the rubber meets the road. That's where results kind of take place. Just like, dude, if I work out by myself, I get in decent shape. I get motivated, and I'll get in pretty damn good shape. But I've never been in any better shape until I had a freaking trainer hold me accountable. Again, I know the exercise. I don't need them to tell me what to do. I need them to make me do it.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, but like the last 3 to 5 reps, which is where the pain is, right? It's
Yeah.
not uncomfortable doing a rep or two.
just hurts.
It's the last few that you don't want to do. And if I don't have a trainer, I won't do them. I won't do them.
I agree with you. I'm big on that too. I have a trainer.
Ed says,
when I go work out, because it's just more or less not because I can't do it. It's just that I want that push. And I think building a community or having someone in that sense that expects more from you and that's not going to let you stop really pushes you. And people don't like that. I don't know why people don't like having people push them. People can't take criticism.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of these entrepreneurs, they're very weak minded. It goes back to the mind, but they're very weak because they don't accept criticism. That's one thing that I've gained success with, is that I'm okay if someone tells me something, giving me feedback. I'm okay if I'm getting criticism, because in the end, I have to see it as an outcome. What can I get from that criticism? And criticism makes you stronger. And criticism technically isn't bad. It's just that some people don't know how to take someone else telling them to have a higher expectation of themselves or to get better. Like after my podcast, anytime I do an interview, I shoot the person a message and I say, hey, like, how did you like my questions? Was there anything that I could change? Is there anything I could do more of? And I get feedback back all the time. And I'm like, oh, cool, perfect. You know, one time on my podcast in the beginning, one of the guys told me he didn't understand what I was doing. He didn't understand my mission. He didn't understand this, that, and the other. My message is all mixed up. And my group was kind of like, looking like, oh my God, what's she gonna say? And I'm like, awesome. Like after this call, like let's get on a call so you could kind of help me clear my mission up or clear like my message up. And a lot of people respected that when I said that, because most people would have, you know, said fuck off
Got
or
all
like no way. And I called the guy right after and I explained it to him. He's like, oh man, now I feel like a douche. I get it. And then he kind of helped me tweak up my message. So I think criticism is a good thing, and I'm not a weak person. You know, I don't care if someone says something bad about me, you know? You got to thin out the herd. You're not going to be for everybody.
yeah, that's right. Dude, we got bombs up in here with old Nani. I'm going to start calling you Nani Bombs Bernal.
Let's go.
But at the end of the day, man, it's all about really perspective and mindset, because why are you like that? Why don't you care? Because that's one of my superpowers. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care if people like me. I want them to. Don't get me wrong. I want them to. I want everybody to like me. It's fun being liked. But if someone doesn't, I don't give a fuck. And here's why. Because I know that everyone's not going to. Just like growing up, you know, I'd get, you know, girls all the time. Like I got girls.
Yeah.
And I had a couple ugly buddies that didn't really get that many girls. Well, guess what? Every once in a while, them some bitches got a girl too. And you want to know what? They literally thought that they couldn't get girls. And I'll bet you they'd have got a lot more if they changed that belief, that mindset. But at the end of the day, I realized not everyone's going to like me. Not everyone's going to like what I say. Not everyone's going to like what I do. So if you realize that not everyone's going to be happy, well, then you have to realize that someone's going to be pissed. Someone's not going to like you. And the only other thing you can do is keep your mouth shut and stay, you know, just get out of the game, which wasn't an option for me. So once I realized that, look, I can't make everyone happy. If I go out here and say this, they're going to be mad. If I go out and say that, they're going to be mad. So guess what? Either shut up, don't say a word, or don't focus on the other people. Focus on yourself. Focus on, is what I'm saying make me happy? Does it make me proud? Does it make me laugh?
Yeah.
Do I like it? And if the answer is yes, well, then everyone else, I don't really care.
It gets the right people around you, and people don't see that, you know, because if I have a message, and being an influencer, and I'm sure you know this, is more or less if I send a message out there that someone doesn't like, cool, that's awesome, because now the people that don't like me, they're going to stop following me, and the people that like me, now I'm being able to close them in more, you know? So if someone doesn't like your message, oh well. The other night I was with Jonathan, and I guess I got a bit aggressive with that method. Someone said something to me, and I guess she thought I was going to, you know, like, oh my God. And I was like, honestly, I don't give a fuck. And everybody just looks at me and they're like, And I'm like, I'm sorry if that came out bad, but I don't give a fuck what you think about me, because if I cared about what you think about me, then I'm going to have to care about what everyone else thinks about me. And then I'm going to have to worry about a whole bunch of shit that's created from nothing. You know what I mean? So to me, it's stay true to you, you know?
Let me add to that just for the bomb squad. Stay true to you with ethics and integrity. Meaning, because like if someone's like, well, fuck it, I like hurting people. Fuck you.
No, it has to be ethically and morally right. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, that's the key, though. That's the key. That's why I can get away with it. That's why you can get away with it, because we're doing the right things. We're not scamming. We're not lying. We're not cheating. We're not stealing. We're out there genuinely trying to help, trying to improve ourselves, trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to share, right, with ethics and integrity. And that's when I'm talking about, then don't give a fuck what people think.
Yeah.
Like if you're out there hurting and lying and cheating, you should give a fuck what people think, and you should stop doing that shit.
But that also goes back to, let's say, for example, if I was super aggressive to her and I did say I don't give a fuck, I reflect on a lot of things. You know, like I do think about the situation. I'm like, okay, if you're going to always have a message, you also got to know when you are wrong. And let's say if I was incorrect, I have enough, you know, I have enough humility to go to someone and be like, you know what, I was completely wrong. And that was something that I had to learn to do, was actually take ownership. Ownership is the number one thing to help you get to the next level of your life, because that's when you become conscious, you give confession to yourself, and then you get clear when you start taking ownership. And people don't realize that. They think, well, man, my pride, man, my ego. Yeah, your pride and your ego is what's getting you down to a path where you're not understanding. Sometimes people go on a purpose and they realize it's not theirs too late. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's funny because you're talking, you're on a roll, and then you just kind of stop.
Because I don't want to take over.
No, take over. It is your show now.
This is awesome, man. I appreciate
this
you having
me. This is Nani Bombs Bernal.
Nani Bombs
I'm just going to
Bernal.
start calling you Bombs.
Call me the Bomb Squad with you.
No, I'm just going to start calling you Bombs. That's your new nickname when I see you.
Let's
go. It's just freaking bombs.
That's honorable.
Another thing, you're going on this cruise with me and Jonathan Hawkins, Coach Burt, Cody Askins.
Yeah.
Cody, there's another Cody. Isn't there two Codys? Cody Kearns?
Yeah, I think it's Cody Kearns.
Yeah, little cruise. If anybody wants to go on a cruise and get 3 days of this badass, you know, go to wherever. I don't even know where they go, but go somewhere and fucking
go
hire.
Go on Ozo Nani on Instagram, and I got the link up, or go on my Facebook and I have the link up. That's something that I want to let you guys in on too. So 175 days ago, my big mission was to get on stages, like to land stages. 175 days ago, you didn't know me. 175 days ago, Coach Burt didn't know me. 175 days ago, people were telling me I'm crazy. I shut down my moving business, where I created it to be a 6-figure business, and I shut down my moving business, and I went forward to impacting people. And I said it on Jonathan Hawkins' podcast Friday is, you know, a lot of people don't know the back end stuff. My car actually got repossessed the first month when I was doing it for free.
The bill collector, they ring my phone, scare my wife when
Dude.
I'm not home. I got a bum, education, double-digit inflation, can't take a train to the job. There's a strike at the station.
Yeah, so my car got repossessed, right? And a lot of people would go ahead. That's awesome.
Do you know who that is?
Yep, that's Pete Barr. Yeah.
You want to know him?
Yeah, I do. So a lot of people, you know, would have took that situation, would have been like, dude, this dream is unreal. I can't do it. You know, I'm starting out a business. Now I'm tight on my bills. Now my car gets repossessed, and I have to go through 60 days of still doing this, seeing if I'm going to get results. And if I took that adversity and saw it in a negative way, I probably wouldn't have landed me being on a stage with Coach Burt, Brad Lee on a cruise. You know, it's all about consistency. And now 175 days ago, my income wasn't right. 175 days later, I now have a monthly subscription with 100 people for $97 a month.
See that? Now you're just rolling.
Exactly. And it's just going to keep going, you know?
Is the rag top down so your hair can blow? See that there's like just like real shit, ain't it?
Yeah.
And not only that, those people for $97, they're probably getting thousands of dollars of coaching and mentoring, because I'll bet you anything, you are taking what you're learning from the accelerator, from people like Ed, people like Andy, and you're passing it on.
Yep. And it's another thing is, where are you going to find a group, okay, that actually gives you a chance to be on these power talks? So something that's really unique about my podcast and about my group is that I do these calls, video calls, but I not only have the person or the guest that I'm bringing, I bring my tribe with me. So every day, basically, because I've been doing podcasts literally like every day, these tribe members, they have a chance to get on a call with me and a big player. I had Dan Fleshman last week. I had Dave Meltzer. I had Kent Clothier. I've had Drama from Young and Reckless. I've had Ryan Stewman. I've had Ray Higgin. You know, I've had all these big people, and for an hour, if you're a part of my tribe, you get to be on that call. Yeah, you can't, everybody talk, but I give you the opportunity to write a question in. I'll give you an opportunity to speak if the question's good. And now, not only am I being selfish, getting all this power, now my tribe could get it too. So that's sick in itself. And I know that there's no other group doing that. And that's my unique selling point, is that I'm not here for the bullshit. I'm here for the real shit. And I want to make sure that if I'm growing, you're going to grow with me. So the first 100 people that have been moving with me, I've been seeing them move. I got a partner, 6 months ago. He was working for an employer. I set him up on a 90-day growth plan. Now he quit his job and he's on his way to making 6 figures. I have a member in my group that was 350 pounds. After being in my program for 120 days so far, she's now at 290, I believe.
Damn.
Yep. I have another, individual in my group that prior to joining my group, they didn't really have a mission or a purpose, and now they've created a group. They're creating a brand. So it's really me. I get the joy and fulfillment of seeing people win.
Damn. And you're doing it all.
And I'm winning too.
As you're getting paid.
Yep.
See, that's what's beautiful. See, before you were worrying about how am I going to get paid? Then you started worrying about, fuck it, let me just follow my purpose, and now you're getting paid.
I didn't worry. You see, you got to use the words. I did not worry. It was really freaking weird too, because I wasn't worrying, and I think that's how I knew like I was on the right direction. See, when you worry, you're hopeful, and I'm a very big person on that word hope. I hate it, because when you're hoping, you're begging. When I'm hoping for, I hope this happens. I hope I get this. I hope. Okay, cool, you're hoping. But I'm a big believer in faith, because with faith, I can conquer anything. With faith, I'm like, I know I got this.
Hope ain't a strategy.
Hope ain't a strategy. So how about this? I texted you. I wrote you in a message, and I was like, hey, we already had a call set up for Monday. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to be in Vegas. Like, do you think I can come stop by and speak to you? You're like, yeah. I wasn't going to be in Vegas if you said I wasn't going to be in Vegas at all. You said yes, so I fucking came, because I knew that it's an opportunity that I got to
Did you learn that from Grant Cardone?
No, I didn't learn that from Grant Cardone. I just had faith that you were going to say yeah, and I just had faith that it was going to freaking work out. And this week has been fucking amazing. I've been in Vegas. I went to California, and it's just about having faith that I know things will prosper. If I was like, man, I hope Brad answer. I hope I can be on his Dropping Bombs podcast. I hope this works for me. I'm begging that shit ain't gonna work, but I know that Brad's gonna say yes. I know that I'm gonna be on that podcast. I know that I'm a go-getter. I just make opportunities, and a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are like, nah, I'm not gonna create the opportunity. I'm gonna let it pass by. I made a podcast that's called When You Snooze, You Lose, and it doesn't mean like snoozing in your sleep. It means snoozing on opportunities. A lot of people are sleeping, and they don't realize that they're sleeping on themselves. And
or that opportunities are everywhere. They're
Yep.
usually disguised as risk, and they're scary.
Yep.
And then their subconscious mind, believe it or not, makes them think you're not worth it anyway. And then their conscious mind starts to rationalize why it's okay to not really feel bad.
Yep.
When in reality, you should feel bad. Most people should wake up every morning, instantly be grateful that they fucking woke up.
Yep, that's conviction. So I got 5 C's. I'm really big on. The first C is consciousness. Like, where am I at? Where am I at in my life? Like, where do I want to be? Like, I need to be conscious of my situation. So, like, someone that's listening to this right now, if you're like, well, I'm not making money, and I'm not happy with my job, and I feel like a loser. Say that. You got to be conscious of that's how you're feeling right now. Now, once you're conscious, okay, it goes into confession. Like, now I got to confess to myself that I got to change. Like, okay, well, I am doing this. I shouldn't be going out spending my money when I don't have it. Oh, man, I could add a little bit of this in my life, and it could be better. Like, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, you got to confess to yourself about your own bullshit. Once you get that confession going, the next thing that happens is clarity. Now I know where I'm at, consciousness. Now I've accepted what I need to change, or I've accepted what I needed to add on. That's the confession. And then now here comes the clarity. Like, now I'm clear on what I need to do. And then you create conviction, because conviction means that you are aware if something goes wrong. So like for me, I have so much conviction in my life now that if I don't, how can I say, if I don't stick to a commitment with myself, I feel bad, because I'm like, wait, that's not me. And that's what conviction is realizing, having that empathy feeling, you know, and wanting to take charge with it. So now you got consciousness, you got confession, you got clarity, you got conviction, and then comes commitment. And then once you got commitment, what happens? Now you got to be consistent. So those are my 6 C's. I know I said 5, but they're 6 C's. Consciousness, confession, clarity, conviction, commitment, and consistency.
Folks, pay attention. The 6 C's definitely work.
Yeah.
And the last one is consistency. That's another big one people miss. You know, it's like, yeah, I tried all that, but it didn't work. And I'm like, oh, no shit. What happened? You know, I don't know. For like 2 weeks I was doing it and nothing happened. And it's like, dude,
I love that. I love
weeks?
hearing that. Like, so my thing is, with my podcast, it was me asking people the wrong way. Like, to get big players on, I realized that if I didn't stay consistent with it, I wouldn't be on here right now. So I was asking people originally, hey, can you join in on my mastermind? And if it be for an hour and this, that, and the other. And big people are like, yeah, $2,000. Yeah, 10 grand. Like, because now I'm asking you to have a time to teach me something. And then when
I say?
You said, well, you didn't answer actually for a while, and then I kept annoying you, and then you finally answered, and you're like, yeah, let's do it. But I asked you differently after. I asked you, hey, can we do a live Q&A together? And you said, yeah. And then the live Q&A, I just brought my team on. So I realized, okay, I'm asking the question wrong, so let me keep trying, and let me see what works. See, if I didn't stay consistent with asking these big players, and I asked the same people over and over and over again, and when I started realizing, when I changed that one word and instead of saying, hey, be a part of my mastermind, I was like, hey, I got a podcast. I would love for you to be a part of it. It's a video call. Let's make it happen. Literally what I write, like, it's a video call. Let's make it happen. And then they join in and they see it's my crew with me. You know what I mean? And now I'm getting what I want. Now I'm getting a mastermind out of it, and I'm also getting a podcast episode out of it. And my consistency and my persistence got me there, because you can't have one without the other. You got to be persistent and you got to be consistent. And I think being in sales taught me that. I used to be on a floor that only had 5 people, and because I was so consistent and persistent, I ended up being the one that trained, created the systems, and I had 50 reps on the floor, right? And I still, having all that stuff taken care of, I was still number 1 for freaking 3 years in a row. When people were doing 40 deals a month, I was popping out 100, and I could show you the pictures to prove it. So being consistent and persistent to me is like the main formula in life. If you're not consistent, if you're not persistent, then you're not going to reap fucking anything.
And then you stop.
Well, I say this too, you're really not going to see anything right now. Usually you see the results of what you're doing now within 90 to 120 days later.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because I was just telling someone the other day about working out, because like I started working out and they're like, I can see it a little bit. And I said, no, what you're seeing now is what I was doing, a month ago. Because I think when you work out, and this is why people don't stay consistent, they work out for 2-3 weeks and it seems like nothing's happening, when in reality that's happening in minute little baby spurts. So if you think to yourself, what I eat and do today will show 60 days from now, for example.
Yeah.
And what I eat the next day will show 61 days. And what I eat the next day will show 62 and 63 and 64, to where if you just stayed consistent on the 60th day, people are like, damn, you're working out. And because it's so gradual, 61st, 62nd, 63rd, 90 days later, people are like, damn, dude, you're getting ripped.
Yeah.
But most people quit in that first 60 days because they're not seeing any difference. They're not seeing the payoff. Well, the payoff is sometimes, 60, 90, 180, sometimes a year away.
Sometimes people just got to fucking stick it through. I always say, like, when people are like, man, but I'm not where I want, I don't really want to be doing this. Cool. Sometimes in life you got to do what you don't want to do to get to where you want to be. As long as it's ethically and morally correct, fucking push through. I've done a lot of things that I didn't want to do to get to where I want to be, you know? I had to sit in a freaking cubicle with no windows, dialing and smiling. And people be like, do you really like that job? No, but it gives me a 5K check every month. You know, my funniest thing that I love to hear people say when they're like, man, I want more money. All right, cool. So why don't you do this? I don't want to do that. What do you mean you don't want to do that? You want more money, right? Well, get to the next level. Fucking push through. Stop seeing that everything that you want has to be your way. Like, no, it comes in different forms. And a lot of the times we do what we want, but we need to do what we need, you know?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. You're a wise one at 24 years old.
Yeah, I'm young, but I have old eyes.
Yeah. Well, again, I would argue, you know me, I'd argue if I didn't agree with your bullshit. But in your case, man, you're getting good coaching and mentoring, or you're wise in your years.
It's a little bit of both.
Well, folks, listen, you better go check her out. You better go to InPower, InPowerTribe.net. Check her out on Instagram at Azonani.
Yep.
AZONANI. Or go check her out, InPower Tribe on Instagram. At least give her a hashtag Bomb Squad. What's up, girl? Or any kind of love and support. Nani, I appreciate you coming here, but I'm not calling you Nani anymore. You're Bombs now.
There we go, man.
You're just Bombs Bernal.
I appreciate you having me.
And I'm going to have you back in another 6 months. We'll see how much bigger you are. But just make sure that when you get big and huge and famous and everyone's wondering, you know, how you did what you did and all that shit, and I ask you back, don't be too big for your britches.
Look, I'll say this. I got great people like you, Jonathan, Coach Bert around me. You guys are very successful, and I've been around you guys. I was around you today, and I've been around those fellas. They really showed me that just because you're success doesn't mean you got to be humble. So what I'll tell you guys is what I tell my squad is let's go and let's grow. And when you grow and you let it go, you'll see the money flow.
Come on now. She's a poet, and she don't even know it.
Let's go.
All right, Nani, appreciate you coming through. Kids, go out and share and rate the podcast. I'm obviously indebted to you for listening, but, man, I'm going to have to start charging for this podcast if y'all don't fucking start sharing. I mean, like, I got to take Andy's lead. Andy says, hey, he don't ask no money, man, but he asks you to share, bring somebody. Share this out. Go rate and review it. It makes it climb up through the ranks, and I can bring you more badasses like Bombs Bernal. Until next time, kids, keep it real.